I guess let's do the toilet one. So this flat earther seems to think that the toilet on the International Space Station proves that the Earth is flat and that it's all fake, because he seems to think it's a very inconvenient toilet. I would agree, it's not ideal, but when you're in space, orbiting the Earth, you'll work with what you have, because you have to poop. So you gotta figure out a way to do it in zero gravity. So let's check it out. I challenge anyone to use this system here on Earth, where gravity is assisting you in making it easier to use. Okay. Yeah, it's basically a vacuum thing you stick on your butthole. Sorry to be gross, but just imagine a strong urination or some explosive diarrhea. Yeah, it wouldn't be great, probably. I don't think explosive diarrhea is ever fun.
By far, the most common question we get asked as astronauts is, how do you go to the bathroom in space?
Oh god, they layered music on top of the music that the NASA video was playing. What are they doing?
So, let's take a peek at the process.
Oh god, it's like a weird chill beat, and then it's that. Oh god, it's gonna give me a headache.
This compartment is called the WHC, a NASA acronym for Waste and Hygiene Compartment, I think. We just know it as WHC. It's inside this we call the stall, which is a couple of walls and a door that give you some privacy, because you're right in the middle of node 3 with a treadmill on one side of the toilet, the weight machine we call ARED on the other side, and down.
I find that stuff so interesting. The astronauts have to spend so much time on the space station, like exercising regularly to try and counteract some of the muscle atrophy and the bone density issues that come from being in low gravity or zero gravity free fall for months at a time. Seems really, really maddening. Gnome Pickles with 100 bits says, so they believe that the station exists, but they believe that the toilet is too wonky to exist? No, they're using this to basically say the toilet is so stupid the whole thing is fake. Which is a weird thing to me. Microgravity, that's the word, thank you. It's so weird to me because if it was fake, you wouldn't make a toilet like this, you'd just make a more normal looking toilet. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't fake something to look like this. It only would look like this if this is really what you have to do in order to shit in space, if that makes sense.
On the floor, our awesome window called the cupola. And this is a high traffic area, people are coming and going, so you need the privacy. First of all, the desire to go, the need to go is very similar as on Earth, where you just know you have to go. It doesn't feel any different because the fluid might be floating in your bladder or something.
That's good. That would be really, really difficult and annoying if in microgravity, like, your body didn't sense having to use the bathroom because of the zero gravity. I'm glad that it's not an issue.
No, that's it. It's just the exact same sensation. You know you got to go. Either one, number 1 or number 2. So you've decided that. You float into the WHC. And we have the toilet.
Yeah.
Which consists of a seat and a metal bucket that we call a keteo, which is a Russian acronym for something, container of something.
I've seen camping toilets that are a little bit like this, like portable toilets that are basically just a bucket with like a seat on it. They don't look fun.
And but it holds about, depending on how many people are here.
I wonder if, like, because I think China has a newer space station that's a little bigger, and I'm wondering if they have a more, I'm trying to think of a word for this. I'm wondering if they have a toilet that's a little more easy to use because they have a little bit more space. Stone Corbell says, if I play a goofy track of music over footage that disproves it, I'm a genius. Like God, true.
It holds about maybe 30 deposits, and we'll talk about.
what do you want him to... They did a sound effect. They're like, haha, he called it deposits. Yeah, you want him to be like, this is where we hold 30 sloppy shits. We're just monkeys shitting in outer space. This is where we keep the sloppy poopies. Big Dykenergy thing. Oh, Big Dykenergy. Ah, I get it. Did you have to change your name? I wonder if that was a Twitch thing. Thanks for 5 months, says, you gotta do a Chili DeCastro update soon. A saga is unfolding. Next time we do a Sovereign Citizen thing, it might be an entire Chili stream. He's been very strange lately.
About that in a second.
And Verkanon, thanks for 22 months.
The urine goes into this hose right here, and this valve is what activates the whole system. Okay, these are the two primary control panels.
I said Verkanon. Logarth with 50-bit says, Monkeys Shitting in Outer Space is my new prog rock band name. Cool.
For the WHC, when the system is ready for use, it's a V. This means it's going to the UPA. So we say, check that it's V to P. All right, now we're on the inside of the hygiene compartment. Close the door so that you have your privacy. You take the funnel. This knob right here activates the whole system. It's very, very convenient because it's just one valve operates it all. But in the event that you forget how the system operates, or you're brand new here and you just want to double check, in good NASA fashion we have a checklist. This is called procedure 2.301, the WHC nominal operations cue card. It's got several blocks for operation.
It's so interesting to me how this is all so complicated. I understand why it needs to be, because it's in space and things are complex pieces of machinery, and it's a toilet that needs to deal with waste material. So it's going to be complicated, it's going to be weird, and it's going to suck. Literally. I mean that literally. It's weird to me that a conspiracy theorist sees this as a problem, though, because again, if you were to create a fictional space station because space wasn't actually real, which is what this guy believes, you wouldn't make it like this. You would just make it way simpler. You know what I mean? Reality is mundane like this. Reality is kind of complex. Fiction isn't usually this intricate in its lies.
So there's two different ways where the pee can go. It can just go into a bucket, which is called a Yedave, and essentially you're just peeing until that bucket's filled up, and then you have to swap out the bucket. Or you can configure WHC to UPA, a urine processor assembly, and that way the urine is going directly into the system, and that's where we normally keep it. It's most convenient for the crew members because you're not constantly changing out a tank. So there's a couple blocks to tell you how to make those changes, and some detailed steps if you need to know how exactly to do.
I wonder if they had to redesign. Well, no, I guess I don't know who was the first woman to go to the ISS? I'm just trying to think about it, because by that time, the first toilets like this in space probably were the ISS, because the original stuff were probably using, like, diapers and stuff, right? I guess I don't know.
Do it, and
I was just wondering in my head, basically, did they have to redesign the pee portion of the toilet at all once women astronauts became a more common thing? But then I'm realizing the ISS was like the 80s, so that was already a design element, I'd imagine. I don't know. Logarth says the vacuum works for men and women, there was never a change. Okay, cool.
In case things go wrong with the hardware, not...
I just wasn't sure if they had to change, like, the actual suction, like, thing. Because if it was originally made to, like, latch on to basically a space where a penis would go, I wasn't sure if they had to change it at all for, you know.
Yourself. There's the WHC malfunctions cue card, and we thought of all the different light combinations and the failure modes, and
I'm sorry, you're right. ISS was the 90s.
And but the bottom line is, if there's a red light, we talk to the ground, and together we figure out the path forward. Okay, back to normal operations. Time to go. You take the valve, and you turn it on. You hear the fan noise.
Yeah. Oh, don't put your hand on it! Oh, no! I get it, but like, don't do that, sir. You're an astronaut.
Show you that there is in fact airflow. So a little bit
The dubbed over music is giving me psychic damage. I know.
of airflow, and that helps everything flow in the right direction. We've got our simulator.
Oh my God, is he gonna put some like drink in the pee thing? That's great.
And
Yeah, okay, that works. The caption said urine going everywhere. Well, yeah, if you were using this and actually peeing into it, let's say you had a penis, you would have it, like, secured, I'd imagine, around your... You know. Either way, you wouldn't just be having it, you know, out here like he's doing for that. He's using it as an demonstration.
that's where your business goes. You're complete. You want to be a good crew member, so you make sure that you wipe
Oh!
off
That's
the
so
excess.
gross! There's gotta be that one person in the ISS that everyone gets pissed off at because they piss all over it and they don't clean it right. Tucker White says, you think any of these astronauts use this to spank it? No, I genuinely don't. Astronauts must masturbate in space, right? I'd be so concerned about fluids getting places into equipment and stuff.
Use a disinfectant wipe occasionally or often. And
The piss would float. I mean, surface tension is still a thing, and like if it's stuck to a thing, it might still stick to it.
then you simply turn the valve off. But I want to show you number 2 as well, so I'll leave it running and we'll roll right into that. Okay, when it is time to go, you flip this lever here and that lifts up the lid. The seat here is about 5 or 6 inches in diameter, and there's a plastic liner in there where your deposit goes. What I have here is green
Oh no! Okay.
beans and
I thought it was a thing of poop that was sealed.
mushrooms, and I do not
Green beans and
like
mushrooms.
mushrooms, so I don't mind.
I'd imagine for the reason for the small diameter of the toilet is twofold. First of all, the smaller it is, the less it weighs, and weight is always a big concern when you're building equipment to take into space because it costs a lot of money per pound to take anything into space. Secondly, in order to hold a suction, the smaller the hole, the easier it's going to be to have a consistent, like, suction at a lower power. So if it was like a big hole, like a normal toilet, it would require a lot more power to maintain suction on the larger surface area of the hole.
Contributing this piece of food in the name of education.
I can't go to space. I depend on my bidet.
So pretend I ate this yesterday, and now it goes into there. You clean yourself, and the wipes
The caption says, what's holding the crap
go
down
into there
if
as
there is a
well.
plastic
Take
liner? What's holding the crap down? The suction. What?
this red tab, you pull it off the rim, and depends on how full the container is. This one's about halfway through. We do have a stick, and you push it down in there. With all its other
It's not gross, but like, yeah. Early space travel. It's a bitch. First name bunch of numbers says, supposedly the way microgravity affects blood pressure makes it very hard to maintain an erection in space. I have to suspect NASA just doesn't want to admit if it actually does happen up there. Probably.
friends, and then it's time to
Poop stick, poop stick.
put a new bag on. To put a new bag on, you separate, you pull that, it's like a
I don't believe them. Baja says NASA has said no one has had sex on the space station, but neither of us believe that.
hair scrunchie, and get
At minimum, they must have tried. There have to be people who tried, if nothing else. Like, really? You're telling me people aren't fucking on the space station or trying? Bullshit.
it all so it has max capacity there, and
And heck, maybe maybe, I don't know about the blood pressure thing. Maybe it's hard for people with dicks to get erections. That's no problem, though. You can still have sex in space even if you don't have an erection. You just gotta bring a strap on up there. Kippy says, low-key, the best part of this is going, Elon Musk wants to do this and imagining him having to deal with it. He's gonna show up later in his luxury craft after all the slaves are already in place on Mars, ready to serve him.
Ready to go. Close it up. Close the lid. Now you've gone number 1. Number 2, you cleaned yourself up, and it's time to turn the system off. You just take this valve, rotate it to off, the fan spins down, the system checks itself, all the lights go out, and you're done. So congratulations, you've just used the WHC for the first time, and you've learned about the process. Hope it's educational.
Remind me not to go into space unless the toilets get better. MH Darkbeast says, but Hannah, if the toilet is that small, how did Mini-Me get sucked out? Obviously, the toilets on the moon base are much bigger. Tucker White says there was a space shuttle mission, I forget which specific one, where a married couple flew up into space where allegedly they porked. NASA disputed this, but I choose to believe it happened. It must have! There's no way they didn't try!
But I don't think it's going to lessen the amount of times I have to answer that question. Thanks for watching.
How do they handle diarrhea? Probably very carefully. So, is this guy's claim and what he is claiming as evidence is just that the toilet on the ISS is gross? I don't disagree that it's kind of gross, but, like, science is gross sometimes. Don't know what to tell you.